Everybody, it's PTPOP. All four lobes of my brain securely bound behind my back. And today, I'm going to talk about the top 10 things I absolutely despised and hated while working in a call center. Stay tuned. I had a hard time quantifying this because there's so many things I despised about working there. And I came up with these final 10, but there's other things that I really hated. But these were the ones that I think were the most annoying. And I think most of you can identify with these things. Before I get to that, let me tell you a little bit about a new podcast I've started. I will be on Buzzsprout.com. And my channel on Buzzsprout is called A Mind Revolution. That's Mind, M-I-N-D, and then Revolution. What I'm going to do with the channel is basically try to educate people on the evils of corporate America and the marketing and advertising gimmicks they used to suck you in and make you addicted to their products and to their services, products and services that you absolutely positively don't need. So if you check me out, I'm currently on Buzzsprout. I'll be on iTunes, Spotify. I'll be on Stitcher, iHeart, TuneIn, and a bunch of podcast services. So if you subscribe to those, check out PTPOP, also known as Peter Tompkins. My channel name is A Mind Revolution, and there'll be like a profile of somebody's head with a bunch of gears in it. So what I was going to do today was go over the top 10 things I hated about working in a call center. And coming in at number 10, the fake and phony interviews. And I've talked about this in other videos about the interview process. And what happens when you go in for an interview in a call center is you get a sweet young thing, and I call them sweet young things. It's going to be a man or a woman. They come out and they shake your hand, and they're all happy and they're excited, and they feed you a whole bunch of bullcrap in the interview. Like, this is a great place to work. It's a rock and roll atmosphere. Cash paid daily. You know, you're going to get to play lots of games. It's all about having fun. It's all about enjoying yourselves, and don't worry, you're going to come here, you're going to be a rock star, you're going to do great. And before you know it, within 6 months, most people get promoted and they're out of the call center and they're like president of the company. And they hinted this big, horrible line of BS that is it's just so much of a lie. It just makes you want to puke. It's terrible. And then they hire you on the spot. Like I've said in other videos, if they hire you on the spot, run. Get all of your stuff from that interview room and sprint to your car and thank God you never got hired there. Number 9, shift bids and asking someone to cover for you on a vacation request. A shift bid is when you want to work, what time of day. Every call center will hire you in, regardless of your seniority or your experience. They'll always hire you in on second or third shift because they claim that's where they need the most people. And the most senior people with the most seniority, I've already taken all the spots on first. So you're stuck coming in at second shift. They'll usually give you up to 6 months. Let's say after 6 months, if all of your numbers, if your statistics and your talk time and your call time and all of that stuff is immaculate, will allow you to do what's called a shift bid, where you have to put in a bid to compete against all the other reps who are bidding for a first shift spot. So you have to basically put your name into a digital hat and say, hi, my name is Pete Tompkins. I'm currently on second shift. I want to work on first. And then your manager sits down with you and they look at your numbers and HR looks at your numbers. And if your numbers meet up and meet the requirements and you've not been late and you have no tardies and you've never missed a day of work and Venus and Jupiter, Mars line up, you can work on first shift. But what usually happens is they always seem to engineer it so your numbers are just a shade under where they need to be in order to get you on to first shift. And then they'll say, well, Bill and Sally and Joe, who've been here for a year, have more seniority to you, and they put in for this first shift spots that you were putting in for. And because your numbers were just a bit off, they superseded you and they got the spots at first shift. I'm sorry, but you're out of luck. You're not going to be able to be on first shift. So they always work it because there's so much turnover in these call centers that they can't possibly keep everybody on second shift. Most people are dying to be on first shift, but the turnover is so high in second and third, especially second. They're just losing people left and right. They're hemorrhaging employees. It's hard to keep people on there. When you want to put in time for vacation, if you qualify for vacation, it's not based off of your metrics or your numbers on the calls or on the phones. It's based off of the time you were there, if you've been tardy or not. Most companies will give you 2 weeks vacation, but in a call center, you have to ask a fellow employee to cover your shift, because when you're off the phone, that's like a man down. It's literally just like being, I've never hit the beaches of Normandy, obviously, or been to battle, but, it's kind of like one guy goes down, next man up. So you've got to walk around the call center, talk to your coworkers that are on your team or on another team, and say, hey, Bill, I'm about to go on vacation in a couple of weeks. I need you to cover for me. Can you come in on my shift and cover me from, 3 to 11? And if he can't, you got to go over to Sally and ask her. And either you physically get up and try to talk to these people, or you have to send them emails, and then you have to coordinate it with your supervisor, and your supervisor sits down with you and says, well, I couldn't get anybody to cover for you in this shift. And it always delayed or hindered my wife and I go on vacation, because my wife works in a normal corporate situation where people actually get vacation time. You put in the vacation request with your boss sends it to HR, it gets approved, and voila, you're going on vacation. Number 8, not being able to leave my desk when I wanted to. Oh my God, this is one of the worst things about working in a call center, especially if you have to go to the bathroom, or you're hungry, or you're just tired. When I worked in a regular corporate job where I had my own cubicle with walls, and I had a big cubicle at one time with desks, desk drawers, and I had walls, and I could hang pictures up and hang my coat on the wall. I could get up and go to get coffee whenever I wanted. I didn't have to ask my boss, hey, boss, can I go get some coffee? I'm really parched for some coffee. I'm very tired. I need that caffeine to get me boosted. I didn't have to do that. But in a call center, they've got these people to sit like in a nest, like a machine gun nest, watching all the people. They can see who's on the phone, who's logged in, who's logged out, who's at their desk, and they can see it all digitally on their screen. And if you're way too long, you log out too many times, somebody runs over and talks to you and say, hey, Pete, I noticed that you took one too many bathroom breaks. Is everything going okay here today? What's the main reason you're not at your desk and on the phones when you're required to be? Well, there, boss man, I really had to go to the bathroom. I've got some stomach problems, and if I didn't go, I was about to shit my pants, if you know what I mean. Well, okay, just don't let it happen again there, sir. Oh, it was awful. You couldn't go get coffee. You can't go to the bathroom. You can't go walk and talk to anybody. You could, but they'd be on you immediately, like bees on honey. Okay, number 7 is related to number 8, the terrible managers. Oh my God. The mutants. The pure mutants that supervise at the call center level is atrocious. It's just mind-boggling. It's just like this surrealistic, dystopian, putrid group of people to somehow get appointed to the position of a manager. As a matter of fact, most of them are exactly like the character Frank Burns in MASH. Major Frank Burns in MASH. They're all just like that. Oh my God, these people, they don't know how to think. They don't have any compassion. They don't know how to, motivate. They don't know how to talk to people. They just, and most of them are non-existent. They don't even stick around their desk long enough. They're always in meetings. For some reason, there's always a meeting to be in as a manager. But they're never managing. They're never helping the people. They're never improving your skills, and never putting into training. So management, just think of managers in call centers like Frank Burns in the TV show MASH. Number 6, having to share your desk. In most call centers these days, you do not get your own desk. You have to share it with people working in other shifts. And the cubicles, they're not even cubicles. They're a little space that's approximately, I'd say 4 feet wide, 3 feet deep, with no desk drawers, just a chair, a computer terminal, and a computer tower, and a mouse and a keyboard, and that's it. And you walk in, and there's usually the previous person that's at your desk, like in first shift, has eaten food, even though they're not supposed to. They've had food at the desk. There's candy bar wrappers at desks. Sometimes there's chocolate smeared on the keyboard. There's God knows what on the mouse, like snots. And one time I put my hand underneath the desk and a booger dripped down on my hand. Oh my God. Having to share desks with these mutant call center reps is just like disgusting. It makes you want to vomit because it's filthy. I'd always come in with the sanitary wipes, those things that come in a bottle, and I'd have to wipe everything down. In some places they even provide them because people are so sick and disgusting in these places, but touching somebody else's filth on the keyboard and the mouse and the monitor and the desk, we're just like having a shared desk is just disgusting. Number 5, training in the call center is, as I've said in other videos, is just insane. It's anywhere from 2 days to 2 weeks of, in some cases, a semester's worth of college work. And you're basically forced to learn a product line that took most people that work in the company like 15 years to figure out and understand. It's thrown at you in 2 weeks. You have to understand it and be able to talk about it intelligently within 7 minutes on the phone with no training. They just basically give you a manual. They throw it all at you. You absorb what you can, and then they put you on the phones. The training is just insane. When you're in a call center, you've got to know all the accounts, how they work, how interest is accrued, how credit cards work, how loans work. You have to have kind of like an overview of all these products. And the training is just abysmal, and it's always in a windowless room in the basement or some far-off corner of the building with fluorescent lights, poor audio-visual equipment that's propped up by books, and there's no projection screen. They just project the images of the computer screen you're supposed to be learning onto to a cinder block wall that's painted yellow. It's usually, if it's summertime and it's supposed to be cool in the room, it's too hot. There's no air conditioning. Or if it's wintertime and it's supposed to be warm in the room, it's too cold. So whatever it's supposed to be, it's always the exact opposite. It's a torturous, mundane, horrible environment, and a lot of the training classes will be 12-hour days. They'll pay you an extra $3 an hour if you can sit through training for a week they'll put it all in one week and give everybody 12-hour days. So you're sitting there, they give you an hour lunch during training. They'll pay you like $18 an hour. But then when you hit the floor, it drops back down to 10 to 12 or something like that. It's just torture. I never could. It was very hard for me to tolerate training. Number 4, the freaky coworkers. As I've said, the people that work in call centers are decent people. The ones that you sit alongside, that are you're shoulder to shoulder with, and you're fielding all the calls from the crazy customers. They're decent people, but most of the people you're going to meet are freaking weird, and they're broken. These are broken people. These are people that come from broken homes, dysfunctional families. They're drug addicts. They're former felons, or they've been in jail. I don't know about prison. I don't know about felons. But I know people that have committed misdemeanors, people that are sitting in their car getting high. These are not people that would be able to make it into the upper echelons of a corporation. They wouldn't be able to pass the drug test. Even though every call center I've been to, especially banking, they do your fingerprints and they do a drug test. So somehow these people are getting past all that. The people that sit next to you really drove me crazy because there was nobody I could really talk to. I mean, I couldn't intellectualize with anybody. I couldn't go up to some guy with purple hair and spikes in his nipples, with his tongue pierced and say, "Hey, what do you think about the Socratic ideas, the way of approaching the world, a more Socratic approach? What do you think of that, Jasper?"
Well, I think the Socratic conclusion is I don't know what you're talking about.
Oh my God. Number 3, unrealistic goals and expectations and pressures. I mean, as I've mentioned before, when you're on the phone, the standard is a 7-minute talk time. You have to answer the phone in a calm, friendly, and professional manner, find out what the customer wants, and answer their concerns and their questions within 7 minutes. Anything above 7 minutes goes against your overall metrics, and you get talked to by your boss. So if your average handle time, which is the amount of time you're talking to a customer on the phone, of all the customers you talk to in a week, the average is higher than 7 minutes they talk to you. And you get written up, and you get spoken to, and get put on a performance improvement plan. The metrics and the unrealistic goals and expectations and pressure are insurmountable. They create these goals and they create these ideas and these metrics. It's almost designed for you to fail. And you kind of figured out after a couple different call centers that everyone's the same. No one's really thought it through. It's all about saving the company money because the calls cost the company money. If you're on there longer than 7 minutes, you're throwing their numbers out of whack for the fiscal year and quarter or whatever, and you get ridden up. And the unrealistic goals and expectations are insane. Number 2, being treated and disrespected as if you're an inferior freak at all times. I swear to God, I was never treated with respect in a call center. It might have been because they could tell I was educated and I was well spoken. I could speak the English pretty good. I think a lot of the people who work there who are not educated and I don't consider myself intelligent because of my education. I consider myself intelligent in spite of my education because my college degree provided absolutely nothing for me in the real world. I was always well spoken. Corporate world, I was treated with a fair amount of respect, but in the call center world, I was always treated like I was a mouth breather. You know, I was disrespected, I was talked down to, I was made fun of. And I think that's because the people who were my supervisors barely made it through high school, and they really weren't intelligent. They didn't speak in multisyllabic words. It was just like, yeah, you gotta get your talk time down there, Pete. You know, hey, have you seen my skull? I need my skull. I gotta go on a chew break. You want to wait for a moment while I go on a chew break and have a smoke? These people were not exactly intelligent, and when they met somebody like me who appeared to be intelligent, I think they felt threatened by me, and they had to put me down and keep me under their thumb. And the number one thing that I hated about working in the call center were the customers. By far, the customers were atrocious. If you work in a call center and you talk to people from multiple states all around the country, you get a very quick idea. You be able to gauge the temperature and the climate of the mental instability of our country. As an intellectual group, I don't know how most people get out of bed in the morning. I don't know how most people figure out, number one, how to get out of bed, or how to take a dump and wipe themselves, or how to tie their own shoes. Most of these people are just batshit stupid. They don't know anything about what they're talking about. They call in unprepared. They don't know their account numbers. They don't know their social security numbers. They don't know how to spell their own names. They don't know their own addresses. They don't know who else is on the account. I mean, I'm supposed to talk to these people in a clear, calm, professional manner as they start screaming at me and yelling at me and call me dirty, filthy names because I want their social security number or their account number to pull up their information. You know, I want your manager. Who the hell are you to ask me for my social security number? You're probably going to steal it and go take all my money. Well, you know, as you're looking at their account, they've got like $50 to their name and all the accounts on your screen, but they're concerned that you're going to steal their money and go buy beer at the local 7-Eleven or something. The mental processes that these people in our country go through really makes you stop and think. If you have any critical thinking skills and you work in a call center and you're listening to these customers, oh, you know we're in trouble. We're really in big trouble. So that's my top 10 list for today. My top 10 list of the things I hated about working in the call center. There's lots of other things, as you all know, but that's I think that's the peak of it all. So thanks for listening. If you have any other ideas for me, shoot me a message on YouTube. I'll probably get it there before I get it in my email. And I appreciate all of you listening and listening to my speaking of the English so good. Have a good night. Take care. Have a good weekend. Hope you had a good Halloween. Thanksgiving's around the corner. Maybe we can all get ourselves some bird, if you know what I mean.